Have you ever felt like you're on a roller coaster of emotions, tossed around by every little thing that goes wrong? One minute you're on top of the world, and the next, a single comment or a minor setback sends you spiraling. What if I told you there's a way to get off that roller coaster? A way to build an inner fortress, a mind that remains calm and steady, no matter what storms are raging outside. This isn't some new age trend, it's an ancient philosophy, practiced by emperors and slaves alike, called Stoicism. And today, we're going to dive deep into its principles to help you master your own unconquerable mind. So, what exactly is Stoicism? Forget the stereotype of a stiff, emotionless person. That's not it at all. True Stoicism is about understanding what you can control and what you can't. The ancient Stoics, like the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the playwright Seneca, and the former slave Epictetus, taught that most of our suffering comes not from external events, but from our judgments about them. The traffic jam isn't inherently bad, it's our reaction to frustration, the anger that makes us miserable. The core idea is simple, but revolutionary. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This brings us to the first and most fundamental Stoic principle, the dichotomy of control. Imagine drawing a circle around yourself. Everything inside that circle, your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, your responses, is within your control. Everything outside that circle, the weather, what other people think of you, the economy, your health to a certain extent, is not. A Stoic focuses their energy entirely on what's inside their circle. Why waste a single ounce of energy worrying about things you can't change? It's like trying to command the rain to stop. It's futile and exhausting. Instead, you focus on how you choose to respond. You can't control the rain, but you can choose to grab an umbrella, enjoy the sound, or simply accept it. That's where your true power lies. Let's make this practical. Think about a recent time you got upset. Maybe a friend canceled plans at the last minute. The cancellation itself is outside your control, but your reaction, totally within it. You could get angry and send a passive-aggressive text. Or, you could practice the dichotomy of control. You could think, okay, this is outside my control. I can't change it. What can I control? I can use this free time to read a book, catch up on a show, or just relax. By shifting your focus from the external event to your internal response, you reclaim your peace of mind. This isn't about suppressing emotion, it's about choosing a wiser, more rational response instead of a knee-jerk reaction. The next powerful Stoic tool is the practice of premeditatio malorum, which translates to the premeditation of evils. It sounds a bit grim, but it's actually an incredibly effective technique for building resilience. The idea is to spend a little time each morning thinking about the things that could go wrong during your day. You might miss your train, have a tough conversation with your boss, or spill coffee on your shirt. By mentally preparing for these potential challenges, you're not being negative. You're vaccinating yourself against the shock and surprise of adversity. When something does go wrong, you won't be caught off guard. Your mind will say, "Ah, yes, I considered this might happen. I have a plan, or at least, I'm mentally prepared to handle it with calm." It strips unfortunate events of their power to disrupt your tranquility. Think of it like a fire drill. You practice what to do in an emergency so that if a real fire breaks out, you don't panic. You act calmly and effectively. Premeditatio malorum is a mental fire drill for life's daily challenges. Marcus Aurelius himself wrote in his Meditations, "Begin each day by telling yourself, 'Today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness.'" He wasn't being a pessimist. He was preparing his mind to not be disturbed by these things, to maintain his own virtue and calm regardless of how others behaved. By anticipating challenges, you build a kind of psychological armor. Now let's talk about perception. Epictetus famously said, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgment about things." This is the cornerstone of Stoic thought. An event is just an event. It's neutral. It's the story we tell ourselves about the event that gives it meaning and emotional weight. Let's say you get passed over for a promotion. The event itself is just that. You didn't get the promotion. Now, you can layer a story on top of it. "This is a disaster. My boss hates me. I'm a failure. My career is over." That story will lead to feelings of despair and anxiety. Or, you can choose a different story. "This is disappointing, but it's also an opportunity. What skills can I develop to be a stronger candidate next time? What can I learn from this experience? This story leads to action and growth, not misery. The Stoics urge us to be mindful observers of our own thoughts. When you feel a negative emotion rising, pause and ask yourself, what is the judgment I'm making that's causing this feeling? Is it really true? Is it helpful? You can challenge your own narrative. This practice, often called cognitive distancing, is about creating a space between an event and your reaction to it. In that space lies your freedom to choose a more virtuous and tranquil response. You become the editor of your own life story, not just a passive character being thrown around by the plot. It's a skill, and like any skill, it gets better with practice. Start small. The next time you feel annoyed by something minor, catch yourself and question the story you're telling. Another key virtue for the Stoics is amor fati, or love of fate. This is perhaps the most advanced and beautiful of the Stoic principles. It's not just about accepting what happens, but actively embracing it, loving it, and seeing it as necessary. It's the belief that everything that happens, both good and bad, is part of a larger, perfect whole. It's about saying yes to life in its entirety. This doesn't mean you have to be happy when tragedy strikes, but it means you trust that even the most difficult experiences can be used for your growth. Nietzsche, who was heavily influenced by the Stoics, put it this way: "My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it, but love it." Imagine applying amor fati to your life, that breakup you went through. It was necessary to lead you to the self-awareness you have now, that job you lost. It was the catalyst that pushed you to find a career you're truly passionate about. It's a powerful reframing tool. It transforms you from a victim of circumstance into an active participant who finds meaning and purpose in every single moment. It's about treating every obstacle not as a roadblock, but as a part of the path itself. The obstacle becomes the way. This mindset is the key to an unconquerable will, because if you can find good in everything, what can possibly defeat you? Finally, the Stoics constantly practice memento mori. Remember, you must die. Again, this sounds dark, but it's actually a profound source of clarity and motivation. The awareness that our time is finite is the ultimate antidote to procrastination and triviality. When you remember that you will die, you're less likely to waste your precious time on things that don't matter. You won't get caught up in petty arguments, you won't chase empty status, and you won't put off your dreams for someday. The thought of death sharpens your focus on what is truly important, living a life of virtue, meaning, and connection. Steve Jobs, in his famous Stanford commencement speech, spoke about this very idea. He said, "Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. It puts everything in perspective." So, how can you practice this? You don't need to be morbid. Just take a moment each day to appreciate the fact that you are alive. This day is a gift. Use it well. Let the awareness of your mortality inspire you to live more fully, more bravely, and more virtuously right now. Don't sweat the small stuff. Focus on your character, your relationships, and your contribution to the world. So, let's bring it all together. Mastering your mind with Stoicism isn't about becoming an unfeeling robot. It's about becoming a wise, resilient, and virtuous human being. It's about focusing on what you can control. It's about preparing for adversity. It's about choosing your perceptions wisely. It's about loving your fate. And it's about remembering that your time is precious. These aren't just abstract ideas. They are practical tools you can start using today. Pick one. Maybe start with the dichotomy of control. For the next week, every time you get stressed, ask yourself, is this inside my circle of control? If it's not, consciously let it go. You'll be amazed at how much lighter you feel. Building an unconquerable mind is a lifelong practice, but it's a journey worth taking. It's the path to true freedom and lasting tranquility. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into Stoic principles. I hope you found it valuable. If you want to explore more ideas for living a better, more intentional life, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments which Stoic principle resonated with you the most. Until next time, live with virtue.